Hello, my friends, and welcome to tonight's episode of The Strength of Thousands here on twitch.tv/tabletop rolls. I hope you're doing fantastically tonight. Before we get started, a few programming announcements. Number one, many shows on the channel. Tomorrow night, Will and DataFang, also known as one of the developers of Remnant 2, play through Remnant 2 on the hardest difficulty with new characters. It's been a challenge. It's been a good challenge, but it's definitely been a challenge.
That's the best kind, honestly.
It's been very interesting because having developer insight and having a developer talk about, oh yeah, when we did this thing it was cool. It's a very cool way to watch people play the game. I highly recommend it. Then on Wednesday, Wild Ambition, yeehaw! We're back to the main campaign. The party will have finally made it to Corvangeline, the big city, and the many new trials and challenges that await them there. Thursdays we are off, but Fridays we are back with the Astral Calling, our D&D 5e spelljamming adventure.
In space.
Should have an episode this week, so it should be a good time. Last time they got through some puzzles, and now it's time to talk with a certain doctor. How much mental gymnastics will McKenna do this week? Who knows? Join us and find out.
Come watch me get angry, or go watch me get angry in the VOD about spell schools.
I'll
have to watch the VOD.
You will laugh.
I gave Matt a trivia question. And
it was a freaking game show is what it was.
Yeah,
you had buttons like, well, which one of these? Press the red button.
They built their own mini boss. It was a good time. But that's Friday. Saturday this week there will be no Tabletop Bros because Matt and I in the morning are shooting a podcast that Squishy has commissioned with a Canadian company to do some fun stuff there. We get to be vampires for the day, so I'm going to be in my vampire voice all day, and we get to hang out and have a good time. Then also on Saturday is and Friday night we'll have Emily probably in another room for the entirety of the stream because she's staying over, because Saturday is also the Doki Doki Night Market here in Winnipeg. It's the local anime convention getting a whole bunch of artists together to do a night market.
Ooh.
Yeah. And
Nice.
Support your local conventions.
Yeah.
Assuming they're good people.
Support your local artists.
Yeah, if you're in Winnipeg,
definitely
don't support Comic-Con.
The Winnipeg Comic-Con?
Yeah. Or C4.
That's a discussion for
later.
later.
That's a discussion to have later. Oh, no, not that one. C4. C4. Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, C4 is long dead, isn't it?
Oh, good. So Saturday, because of that, and because of the Emily plans that I will need to go help her rip down a stand of art, a booth at night. No Tabletop Bros. Also have to feed her probably and her friends. Anyway, then on Sunday, Cozy Co-op, possibly with Sarah, possibly without Sarah. No Sarah?
No Sarah. Sarah will be in Monterey, California.
All right. Well,
Nice.
No Sarah for Cozy Co-op this week. This last week we took the week off. I got us up to date on our YouTube uploads. And during that time, that's nice. Then, of course, Monday's Strength of Thousands Adventure Path, the show you're watching right now. One non-channel announcement. If you're in Winnipeg and want to play PFS with me running it for you, Amusing Games has their signups live for Pathfinder Society with me. So come and join that if you want. I have created a curation of scenarios that will be very intriguing and interesting to go through. It'll be running weekly starting on March 29th. So if you want to leap into PFS, now's the time to do it.
I will vouch for as a testimonial here, is a enjoyable DM. He puts up with very silly people like me playing a geriatric old wizard and doesn't try intentionally to kill his players. He will let them kill themselves potentially if they decide, yeah, I'm going to run into a room and do something stupid. He'll be like, okay.
Makes sense.
But that's not his fault.
Nope, and it's also not my fault if I roll 6 natural 20s in a row. But that's beside
At
the
that point,
point.
I would get suspicious.
Well, that's why I rolled them in front of you. Matt.
Me?
Yes, you, Matt. Matt
But
Urban.
couldn't be.
Yes, it could
Then
be.
who?
Could it be who? You.
With a clue.
Yes, with a clue.
Introduce.
Let me drink some morning dew. I have
Just
not had Mountain
introduce,
Dew in
please.
years.
Sarah's had enough of me and Matt's silliness. What type of silliness would you prefer?
I do like a rhyming train if you can get people to start rhyming, you know. What makes a coup true?
I don't know, do you?
Sorry, that was a reference. But yes, hello everyone. Welcome to the non-rhyming adventure path for Pathfinder 2nd Edition, the Strength of Thousands. Or, 4, maybe? There's a whole metaphor about the Strength of Thousands and community. Community is a big part of this campaign in a way. But as
Can I be
mentioned,
Jeff?
I am Matt or Matthew, Urbanoff at various places on the internet, and I'm here to wrangle this cavalcade of curious cats, perhaps. And
Meow.
all right, well, we have a volunteer for first introduction today.
The curious cats. What
The exemplar with the ears. Sarah, please introduce yourself and your characters. And for your I'm going to personalize every question tonight. I'm going to ask you
Okay.
is an avocado a fruit is the question. But first introductions.
Yeah, hi everybody. I'm Sarah Margaret. Big red cat pictography on the TikTok. I play Charlotte, the naughty toxicologist. That question threw my entire brain through a loop for some reason. I mean, it's got a seed. So take that for what you will.
Does that mean avocado
got a
toast is fruit toast?
Yeah, sure. I don't tend to eat straight avocado on anything, so I couldn't tell ya. I'm the most un-Californian that I prefer no avocado over avocado any day of the week. So
I mean,
couldn't tell you.
that's fair.
So for you, it's avocado, not avocado.
But speaking of avocados and the color green, McKenna, please introduce yourself and your characters. And for your random question, what's your favorite food that is a fruit, but a lot of people wouldn't think it's a fruit? I'm just throwing mental chaff at you guys tonight to try and bamboozle you.
I don't know what people don't consider a fruit or not. But my name is McKenna Raitainen. Tonight I am playing Avi Avi, the Nyctera Witch, as well as her familiar Agate. I guess I'd have to say tomato, because I don't know what other people fail to consider a fruit that is technically fruit. I don't know what you're holding up.
With a tomato.
Yes. Yeah, I think tomatoes are maybe the most versatile. I love a marinara sauce. What do you mean?
I'm not wild about marinara, honestly. It's just, to me, it's kind of basic. I'm sorry.
Marinara
Yes.
isn't wild about me either. It's fine.
I also had a really excellent tomato soup for dinner tonight. Trader Joe's has like a some sort of chili tomato soup with dumplings in it, but I do want to be clear that they mean dumplings in like the more southern way, not in like a Pan-Asian way, where it's just kind of like a little chunk of something bready in the soup. And I could have done without those. I would have preferred it to just be like the chili tomato soup. I think
because-
chilies are also technically a fruit. I changed my answer to chilies.
Oh, sorry. I was about to ask you a different question. chili as in, like, not a chili, because I was a little confused. You described it as soup, but then silly chili, but I didn't realize you meant the thing chili.
Chili, like the actual fruit.
Yes.
I think chilies are a fruit. They are
Okay.
seeded.
I feel like chilies fall under the same parameter family as tomatoes. A la, sure, they're fruits, but also I wouldn't put it in a fruit salad.
Yummy,
Yeah.
yummy.
Yeah.
What's the thing, like, intelligence? The intelligence stat is knowing that a tomato is a fruit. The wisdom stat is knowing that you still shouldn't put it in a fruit salad.
Correct.
Precisely. Yeah, that's pretty
Then-
accurate.
Then the bard points out, well, that tomato fruit salad is salsa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But because she was nodding along to the soup and chili talk, Zoe, why don't you introduce yourself, your characters, and what's your favorite food that's just found you would find in someone's backyard garden?
Okay. Hi, I'm Zoe. I go by Zozy Pose on the internet. I'm playing Ophelia. She's our Whisper Elf Bard. And I was actually nodding along because I hate chili, but I like soup.
I do prefer vegetarian chili to like the really beefy stuff.
I hate beans with a burning passion. They're my least
Really?
favorite thing. It is a taste, texture, and smell thing. It is an everything. It is
Wow.
a deep hatred thing. Yeah. And my favorite food that you would find in somebody's garden, I actually put zucchini in literally everything that I cook ever. So much so that you know how like you make a mirepoix and it's onions, carrots, and celery,
For sure.
and you put that in that's what you put in most things that you would cook, like your stuffing or your meatloaf or your whatever, to like add flavor to your sauces and stuff. Well, my mirepoix is zucchini, mushrooms, and I also use onions sometimes, but yes, but squash. I put squash in everything. So good. I love it. It's my favorite. Try it in anything. Seriously.
My mirepoix recipe is really obscure. Probably wouldn't have ever heard of it.
I'm so scared. I'm so scared.
I had never heard the word mirepoix until today. Until this exact moment. That's the joke.
And last but not least is the host of this feast, so to speak. Will, please introduce yourself, your character, and something from a garden that you just don't care for that might surprise us.
Hello, my name is Will, also known as Tabletop Roles on the internet. Tonight I'm playing Igara, the Gripply Summoner, their Eidolon Gamma, and their pet Choco. And a thing I don't enjoy from gardens that surprises people for some reason is rhubarb. Why are we eating it? It's poisonous. Why are we eating it?
The leaves are poisonous.
The stems are good with strawberries.
They're great in a pie.
Technically, there's cyanide in a lot of fruit pits, but we just don't eat the pits, so it doesn't matter.
I hate rhubarb. I don't.
I mean,
enjoy
if you
the
drink enough
taste.
water, it'll kill you.
That's true.
Though someone figured out because there's a tiny bit of radiation in bananas. Someone
Oh.
figured out how many bananas you would have to eat to die of radiation poisoning. You would die long before the radiation killed you just from the amount of bananas you were eating.
From the
Yeah.
potassium poisoning.
It's
Die.
a lot. It's a
You
lot.
die from
of bananas.
potassium poisoning.
Yeah. Okay.
But enough about potassium poisoning. Let's start the game tonight. Will, why don't you go ahead and roll that intro?
Button push.
Good
Oh, I wanted to
question.
see people's reaction to the new end, the
Well,
book 5 bit.
they will see it next week. I apologize. I made
That's
dumbass.
okay. You were busy today.
Could this happen to me?
I just
Made a mistake.
A mistake. Also, can we just appreciate how Sarah is technically rocking 6 different ears right now? Like 3 different sets, 6 total ears. The 2 ears, the bunny ears, and then her 2 actual ears.
Which are hidden.
Just
They're a
just a
secret tool for
Biblically
later.
accurate number of ears.
Quick, Sarah, tell us to be not afraid.
You should be afraid. You should be very, very, very
Ooh.
afraid.
Oh God, it's a millennial angel.
Listen,
Oh,
they
God.
have all those ears. They can hear all our secrets.
goes.
Yep.
That's why they're so big.
It comes
But-
down to exterminate us every 6 months.
Hey.
Topical. When last we left off, our group of lore speakers from the Magambia had completed their recent expedition to the Golden City of Osaibu. Unfortunately, a little not as bad as it sounds, having left the city, they are now under a sort of magical geas not to reveal the location and exact details of the city, so whenever they talk about their trip, they have to do it in a very roundabout way, saying, oh yes, in the area we heard tales of such and such, and nearby we met this ancient tree man who knew teacher or old mage Jatembe, who apparently is still alive, but on a different plane or something, or somewhere very distant. It's a little unclear.
Avi's just so bad at lying that it's just exceptionally apparent to anyone who asks her.
Her voice gets high and squeakier.
Even more so.
Yeah. But at the revelation that old mage Jatemba is still running around, the administration of the school is now very eager to perhaps launch another expedition to contact him. But some research is needed because it has been revealed that he is somewhere through the what's called the doorway to the Red Star, which very little is known about, and not a whole lot is known around the people who potentially guard it. So some research is having to be done in combination with the fact that a new semester has started at the school, and you guys are all lore speakers, so you have a job to teach your students, which we spent about 2 weeks doing, I believe, because I think this is being divided up into 2-week segments where you guys did a little bit of research. You had some mixed success and some a bit of frustrating failures. You learned a little bit about the people who guard the doorway and the doorway itself. Also, you got kind of keyed onto another avenue of research. Just making sure I have this.
Radokan.
Well, that comes afterward. The one thing I was gonna... there was some mention that kept popping up in reference to the door of a figure known as the King of Biting Ants.
Yes.
Which there wasn't any success on research on that yet, but we're going to get to that. But a sort of event has come up that is going to be a bit of an interruption with your research and studies. Long story short, an ancient magical artifact that was once being guarded at the Magambia was shattered and scattered after an attempt to destroy it went awry. One of the pieces ended up in a seemingly good dragon's hoard. They decided that this meant that fate had essentially decreed that they were to be the guardian of this piece, and unknown to this declaration, the Magambia hired groups of adventurers to sneak into the hoard, retrieve the piece of the artifact, which the dragon did not take kindly to. Not in a violent way, but he has here essentially lodging a very insistent and formal complaint with the Magambia, believing that it's better in their possession. They're the better guardian of it. So you guys have been asked to negotiate on the behalf of the Magambia to convince the dragon to allow the school to keep the scepter, because, to be fair, they had it first. But before we get to that, there was a dangling thread left from last week that I said I would resolve this week, and I make good on my promises 90% of the time. When you guys did a little bit of investigating and eventually had to flee from a collapsing pocket dimension in the Black Hat Magic Shop, you were able to grab 2 magical items. And I'm going to describe them to you now. What you guys find first, you are examining these things. I'm not going to say you're doing it now. You probably did it as soon as you got them later.
We have 2 weeks.
Yeah. There were kind of 2 packages. They're both wrapped and not immediately apparent what they are. One is a small, kind of lovely gilded wooden box, dark wood with kind of lovely brass fixtures, maybe the size of half a loaf of bread. Fairly small. The other thing was a bit longer, seemed to be very fine, dark treated leather, wrapped in kind of silvery thread, about the length of a badminton racket, but much thinner. So you guys, if you want, you can do some tests on these now before you attempt to open them, or you could just launch into opening them. I mean, nothing suspicious has ever come from the Black Hat.
Let me roll a little Arcana check. Let me know if you want me to roll more than one.
Well, which one are you'd like to examine first?
I'll examine the box first. That's a 44.
The 44.
It's a 44.
The box itself does not seem to be magical, but you can detect some magic from the inside of it. It seems to be holding something inside. That's probably.
Seem dangerous?
There does seem to be a faint glimmer of enchantment magic.
Enchantment.
And let me just double check. You roll a 44. I will also tell you this. It does seem like you get an interesting kind of feel from this. It's like several small pings in close proximity. Like there's 4 things pinging off, but they all seem almost identical.
Okay. All right. Well, then I guess I'll open the box and see what's properly inside.
All right. You set off the trap.
Yeah.
The mechanical
that's fair.
trap, which didn't pick up any magical thing. No. Inside, there seems to be inside there is a kind of lovely thing of velvet that 4 rings of silver seem to be set into. Each of the rings seems to have a pale blue gem set into it.
Can I ascertain what these might do?
You would have to give me a fresh Arcana check now that you are actually examining the rings themselves.
One hot, fresh Arcana check. Coming right nat 20.
All right, you know what?
Oh my
Nat
god.
20.
Nat 20, and I don't want to
What's in the
drag
box?
this up.
It's
So, these rings have a mixture of 2 kinds of magic on them, kind of a 30-70 split.
Hmm.
The 30% is enchantment magic. That might just be the magic itself being stuck to it, but the magic that it sort of projects is divination.
Ooh.
But you kind of pick them up, and there's almost like there's a kind of iridescent thread that you pick one ring out, and like an iridescent thread kind of trails off to one of the other rings.
Okay, so they're connected. So maybe it's like ascending communications.
Yes. With the Nat 20, I'll just tell you, these are what are known as scheming rings. They are rings
Scheming
that you can talk into, and then you can hear anyone else talking into any of the other rings.
Oh, that's fun.
So basically, they're like magic walkie-talkies. The only restriction is they are kind of quiet, so you do have to raise them to your mouth to speak into them and keep
to
your
hear.
hand there to hear. So it has to be you have to be sort of be obvious about what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, I don't know what's happening.
I mean, yeah, if you could find, a fan and raise one hand in behind.
All right, and what is this? Not a badminton racket.
it's funny, you like putting it down to examine it. You feel like it does have sufficient weight that you suspect something in there is like probably made of metal or very hard wood. It's got a little weight to it, but not especially heavy.
I think this one I will check for traps. Maybe a little thievery. Just to open it safely. It's a 30.
30. All right. This one does not appear to have any magical traps and the like. There is also, again, a bit of a enchantment aura on it.
Okay, yeah. Pop that sucker open. What's inside?
All right, you unwrap it.
Yeah.
You find a very curious blade inside.
Ooh.
It appears to be about the length of a kind of one-handed longsword, but this is the thinnest blade without being a rapier you have ever seen. It's like a extremely long stiletto blade.
Ooh.
And the hilt is kind of these interlocking, kind of swirled little bits of metal.
Oh,
Very
pretty.
fancy looking. You do sense that this is magical. It does not look like a weapon of brute force at all.
No. Well, I can do a little detect magic, read aura.
Sure.
I obviously know that there's already magic, so I can just read
Yeah.
aura. Is it enchantment or?
The blade itself is enchantment, but it's a little hard to tell just from a detect aura.
So another Arcana check.
Yes, please.
Oh, that 28 is not gonna get me anywhere. I don't think.
Would anyone else like to try an Arcana check?
I'm not great at it, so I don't know if I should try, but
35.
Ikuru's exact words to them was, "It came from the black hat. I'm not touching it." And
All right.
walked away.
35 is good enough. I was just looking for a 30. You were very close, Avi, actually.
Yeah.
So this is it's not a like one of a kind magic item, but it is a named sort of item. It is called a Scholar's Gamble. It is actually a magic weapon you enchanted to rely on the user's intelligence. It doesn't do a whole lot of damage, but it does like 1d8 damage plus your intelligence modifier. So not a whole lot of damage, but on a hit, you roll a d6. And depending on the result you roll, you inflict a different status condition on the person you hit. If they fail a DC, hold on a sec, DC 34 save. On a 1, they're like it's all like status effect 1, unless you go to a critical, then it becomes a 2. On a 1, confused. 2, sickened. 3, blinded. 4, drained. 5, enfeebled, and 6, stunned.
Ooh, very
That's
nice.
so fun.
It should be also noted that the effect can only be inflicted on a single creature once per turn. You can't like double up just
Right.
on the one success, but you can do it to multiple creatures in the same turn. If you think you
Nice.
can get them with subsequent hits like that.
Well, first we should probably talk to Mercedes and make sure she's cool with us keeping these. Because they're not ours technically.
I don't believe she remembers they exist, but that's
I mean-
a good point.
Principle of the thing. Just because someone has amnesia doesn't mean they have a right to their property.
I don't know,
Doesn't mean
like
that
I
they
think there
don't
actually
have
might be
it.
a clause about that in the Megambia bylaws.
Well, that doesn't just because there's a law about it doesn't mean it's the ethical thing to do.
I mean, that's true.
Well, maybe instead check in with, her friends to see how they feel about it.
Keep in
I was
mind,
planning on.
this is, sort of a retroactive kind of check. You guys had these possessions and knowledge, and now we're going back to the main story. Sarah, you can choose to pay no attention to this weapon already being on your character profile.
I was gonna say that sounds like a very Charlotte forward weapon.
Ah,
I felt bad that your lovely leg spear wasn't having much of an effect. So
To be fair, it is just a leg.
it's getting a little smelly too because
A
it was
little
from a
stinky. Avi keeps
It might need to be
prestidigitating
retired
it when
either
Charlotte
way.
when she thinks Charlotte's not looking.
Might need
It
to be
has a waft
retired.
of rotting scorpion leg with like a little ode to lavender sprinkled on top.
Ooh, I could turn that into a poison.
Exactly.
Ooh.
But Avi, assuming this is, in the Black Hat post breakdown, she just says, I was planning on going and visiting her tomorrow or maybe the next day, depending on what her friends are thinking. So I'll just talk to her when it seems like a good time. And maybe I can just present these, and if she doesn't want them, she doesn't want them, and I don't know. I'm very curious to see what she does with the rest of her life. It's a big change.
It's a new lease.
It's a new lease, a new leaf.
But anyway, zooming back to the present, you guys are staring out the balcony onto a space where the dragon is waiting. And I'm just going
That's a
to
dragon.
make sure I get. I think there's a map for this technically, but I'm gonna double check. Yes,
Okay, Rhydocon.
Rhydal Khan.
Yeah, right.
Con!
They kind of look down at you. I feel
Wow.
like you're making a reference, and I don't get it, and that's unfair.
Whoa!
Avi
Whoa.
determines that she will not be participating for most of
Do
this.
y'all... I can help. I got this.
Yeah.
I got
In-
this.
What,
Xenophilia.
intimidation?
Okay, hey, listen. You intimidate one little old lady, and then it's suddenly all your friends. I can do other things.
Igor, we never let that down, We're gonna tease you about that for the rest of your life.
Uh-oh.
Well, there's two Igors in the thing now, and I don't know which. Hold on, there's a drop down. Okay, there we go.
There are two gammas. Yeah, there's two gammas now.
Too much Igora.
Oh my god.
Too much of a good thing.
Yeah.
much.
All right. So diplomatic.
1 second,
dilemma.
chat.
Diplomatic community.
Ba, ba,
Which we
ba.
do not have right now.
No. I mean, this is your turf. If anything,
Yeah.
you might have to
Oh
work on the
no.
dragon.
Okay, I fucked up.
What?
Oh.
Give me 1 minute. I tried to fix the combat overlay, but I didn't check it before I did it. And it's Matt sent me to the RP overlay.
Ah.
Well then.
I mean, you could use the new one now. Well,
No,
That one's
that's
fixed.
what I was trying to use, but you sent me to
Huh.
the RP overlay.
what?
See, the fact that this is a map and this guy has a little HP bar over his head tells me that maybe this isn't as diplomatic of a mission as I thought it was originally.
Well, no, there's just a possibility. Oh God, I
Gonna
did
kill him
send
for
two of
door
them.
access. Yeah.
That's dumb.
You're fine.
Sorry. Well,
It's all good. I was just like, haha, I'll be tricky and I'll fix it. I'll do it in the middle of the stream. It
I
didn't
don't know
work out.
how that's
today.
possible.
Get you, everyone, you see nothing behind the curtain. You see only us. We are here. Pay attention to our faces. Look here. Look here.
Hey,
here.
y'all,
Come here.
so,
Look here.
Okay, so
Look
we
here.
just we wanna get this dragon friend here to not
Look here. Look
keep
here,
the
everybody.
treasure. Yeah, right. Right.
Yeah.
All right.
Ooh.
Hello, impressive dragon.
God.
Anna looks down. Who might I have the pleasure of addressing?
My name is Lore Speaker Igora, and we got Charlotte over there. Lore Speaker Charlotte, Lore Speaker Avi Avi, and Lore Speaker Ophelia, the incredibly amazing.
That's a new one. Thank you.
Are those official titles?
Ophelia's is mine. Yeah, we're all lore speakers. Hi there. How you doing?
A pleasure to meet you, Raido Khan.
A pleasure to meet you as well. Bows its head to each of you in turn. As you are obviously aware, this one is the honored Raido Khan, here to address the unfortunate theft sponsored by your illuminated institution.
Illuminated is an interesting choice of words, considering.
Yeah, that was possibly just a slip of. That was literally possibly just a slip of tongue of mine.
Like,
All
possibly.
right. All right.
The criminal is attempting to get into the cabinets, but lo, doth he know I
And then there are
have
the
placed
suspicious
child locks on
foiled.
all the cabinets.
All right. But
Anyway.
so here's the thing. Technically speaking, and correct me if this is out of character, correct me if I'm wrong. Initially, this object was under the care of the Magambia. We got it back. Your sort of argument here is that you were doing a better job protecting it. Yeah.
In part.
Okay.
I also believe that there is no such thing as coincidence in this world. That though it is often best left to the philosophers to decide, the winds of fate do not blow randomly. I believe that because the scepter came to me, or at least the fragment that I have, that it has become my duty to protect it.
So by your own logic then, because the sector has now come back to us, it is now our duty to protect it.
No, because this was brought by the hands of mortals, in a somewhat dishonorable way, I might also add.
I mean, the other way, the staff becoming broken was also brought by the hands of mortals.
Yes, but
So-
it could have ended up anywhere, and it ended up with me.
Yeah, but
That was
just
not a coincidence.
No, actually.
you seem like the type of person who thinks that the stars can like tell you the future.
You are not helping. That's not helping. That's not helping a lot, actually.
Am I
Um,
detecting a tone of condescension from you, small webbed one?
No, not
No,
not
ignore him.
condescension. But
Please
it's
ignore
just, you know,
him,
it's
please.
just I'm just saying, like, fate has brought it to us. I'm happy to like have a chat with you and like, hey, listen, we are its rightful owners. We are. Fate has brought it back to us, as it has seen fit by pushing the hands of mortals in the direction that it wished it to go, and I don't know, Ophelia, you got something to add here?
Well, I think that the great Raido Khan should look over it.
Oh.
I think the concern is if it was perhaps not easily taken by adventurers, but able to be taken by adventurers, that what if it were taken in the future by
Ryokan raises a talent.
less well-meaning adventurers?
If you wish to speak amongst yourselves and agree on a consensus before we move forward, I am perfectly happy to
Okay,
wait.
give me 1 second. Grabs Ophelia. Still have a -8 in strength. Probably can't pull Ophelia. Just around the.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
What? He should. Why not? Let a dragon have their horde.
Why are we going to let the bad dragon have the evil artifact?
Why
He's
would
not
you phrase it like
bad.
that?
What?
Also, yeah, out of character. What the fuck, Will?
No, in character.
Don't be
the
nasty.
fuck?
Don't be nasty.
But why are we going to let the dragon have the magical artifact? It is a Magambian thing. We were asked to keep it secured here. Can we just do our fucking job?
Why are you so aggro? Yes, Charlotte.
Because we've been literally doing.
Charlotte, what do you have to say?
It might seem a bit difficult, but might I speak with Radokan for a moment?
I guess I don't see the harm in it.
Yeah, which
but
direction are you leaning?
My opinion doesn't matter. Go ahead.
I would like to look at a compromise because both parties are correct. There's a risk, obviously, in such a dark artifact being, in essence, out of our scope. But also, I don't feel as if we should make an enemy of this particular dragon if it truly believes it can be of assistance in protecting such dark artifacts. So,
don't disagree. Also, having all of the pieces of the scepter in different places does make it harder to put back together. It would take one invasion of the Magambi to get all the pieces at this point, whereas at least it would be harder if it was properly split apart. I see the wisdom in it. It's just a matter of I don't know for certain how secure it is in this horde if we were able to take it.
well, perhaps there's beneficials in assisting Radokan in ensuring more safety measures to the horde. I mean, after all, a dragon's hoard is relatively important, so offering more means of protection of that hoard from any future theft might be something that could be helpful for both ends. The scepter would be well protected amongst all of the other treasures, but one, by our assistance to Radokan, but also if Radokan agrees to allow and enable us knowledge of where this is and to inform us if any threats are made on their hoard at any point in time, we could assist in protecting not just the piece of the scepter but the hoard in general, and then everybody tends to win. The scepter piece is far away from all of the others, therefore enabling it so we wouldn't have anybody repairing it, and Radokan would feel as if fate had deemed him worthy to protect such dark creation.
I'm not opposed to that. I do kind of want to check in with Jane Timo or Teacher Ott and make sure that they're okay with that kind of compromise, because the task we were assigned was sort of to not to compromise, and I do want to make sure that we're being respectful of our superiors.
But why
it should be noted
are
if
they
you guys
so...
Asanu, the person who brought this issue, the person who brought this to you is standing by, so if you have some questions about the Magambia's position.
Yeah.
What is the exact why what means do we have here to keep it protected? The Magambia itself is compromised right now.
We have a literal army of incredibly well-trained mages that
And
keep
a cult
watching.
on our doorstep.
Not wrong.
It should be noted, just as a refresher, because there was a lot of information dumped at the tail end of last episode regarding this situation. The scepter was secure in the Magambia for quite a while in one of the vaults, and the only reason that it was shattered and scattered is because they wanted to try something new and to actually destroy the magic artifact, which
Right.
destroying magic artifacts, especially very powerful ones, is always very hard.
I'm just saying we were asked to get it back and to be able to keep it. I'm just trying to follow instructions.
Of course, but I
And
think we're allowed to explore other options.
that is perfectly fine. But let's actually explore other options instead of just not doing the job, if that's all right.
That's what we're doing.
Because it kind of feels like... It kind of feels like we're already dead set on giving the artifact to the dragon.
And it should be noted that the position of the Magami administration itself is that because it was already able to be stolen from his horde once, they don't think he's capable of keeping it safe.
Yeah.
Not just because it is possibly, just not secure, just being in the middle of a horde or something. It's because really the only reason he thinks he is capable of taking care of it is because he's a little bit arrogant, as ancient dragons are tend to be. And they also do like shiny things. But he's not an evil dragon. He is a well-respected dragon from Tien.
Yeah.
So it's mostly just in a polite way, maybe trying to point out the facts of it all to him.
Yeah.
But this is your adventure. You guys are free to try and solve this how you when fit. Especially
What
since... Yeah, go ahead.
What if we have the scepter piece here, and to help with the protection of it in Magambia, we offer him the position of the guardian of it in the vault? That would be a role that would be accomplished, and he would have a vault to protect and the piece. I just want to be very clear in that if it comes to non-agreement, I will not be helping you destroy this dragon.
Yeah, that seems a little unnecessary.
Wasn't planning to murder him. There was no words of murder said. Like literally no.
Sometimes you just get that look in your
It
eyes.
just-
Girl. It's like
I feel like, you know what? It doesn't matter. It's all good. Let's just do our thing.
Okay.
Just ask him.
Go
Let's
ahead,
just go.
Igora.
Let's just go ask
I don't
him.
know
Ophelia,
anything about...
go ahead.
Don't know. Okay.
So, to make him more amenable to your suggestions, whatever they may be, you do have to improve his attitude at the moment, which will take a AC 36 diplomacy check.
You should give him a gift from the glass.
To be fair, trying to coerce him, like with intimidation, is a 41 intimidation check. So it's easier to try and negotiate.
You know what I think might soothe his nerves after a long journey and staying out here in the courtyard for so long
Nice.
is a performance from our auspicious young bard Ophelia.
I want to give him a present.
What kind of present?
I want to give him my wondrous dog figurine.
Oh.
I mean, I would lower the DC for that. Dragons do like gifts. As long as it's not something that is so small it would be insulting.
No, this was a glorious figurine that I won in a competition by many other storytellers who were absolutely wonderful. But Ophelia was just
Was the hair flip intentional there?
Of course.
Yes, it was.
But yeah, so Ophelia will do a little performance, a little song and dance, and at the end, she will present the figurine to Raito-Kon, the great Raito-Kon.
I mean, you got the intimidation. You went for the hard DC to begin with. Wow. Not that she rolled intimidation, but she even passed the DC.
I was like, Ophelia, why? To Ophelia, all 4'10" of her. Why, Iota?
All right, so hold on. I have to look up diplomacy because he does. I do have to look at the tiers of amenable and stuff. So he starts at indifferent. With that successful check, he is moved to friendly. Has a good attitude toward you, but won't necessarily stick their neck out to help you. That's what friendly says. You guys just need one more success to get him to friendly. I mean, to helpful. And I will maintain the lower DC because you gave the gift.
Yay.
I mean, if anyone else has any gifts they want to give, that might even lower it some more.
One of these days, we will go through Sarah's beautifully crafted, meticulous notes and actually add up all of our goodies and gems and gold and whatnot. At present, I don't have an adequate list of what would be appropriate to give this dragon that we can afford to.
And you do want to be careful about it.
Yes. But with the lower DC and Ophelia's masterful performance abilities, I think maybe we roll again to try to make him...
Mr. Rhino-Con. May I call you that?
Honored, Rhino-Con, but I shall allow it.
Honored. Yes, of course. How do you feel about eating gold?
I mean, I feel like that's kind of a waste.
If it's delicious, though? And
I'll admit, I'm not sure I understand.
she's gonna pull out some of the golden pastries from Osaibu and present them.
What a strange confectionery.
Some very delicious confectionaries that we found on our travels. Please, give them a try if you will. They go great with jasmine tea if you prefer that.
I'm going to ask you to give me a performance check with this, just because it should be pointed out that these pastries are now at least 2 weeks old.
We could have kept them fresh. It's fine.
Ah.
Yes, but you didn't make an effort to
But
make them
remember,
fresh.
I also did learn how to make them.
Okay.
Or these freshly made golden pastries?
Probably not.
This will be nowhere near as difficult as the original performance check. Just enough. It's with enough, pizzazz and presentation and maybe genuflection. Okay.
Nat 20.
Yeah.
Nat 20.
All right. That's gonna lower the DC for the final diplomacy check even more.
Okay.
So yeah, he is quite impressed by these golden pastries, and by the offering of kind of the ancient rites of hospitality. You have offered him food, so his attitude hasn't improved yet because you haven't done that check. But he now seems very much more at ease. Like he literally looks like he doesn't expect to fight now because you guys have offered him food, and that's the universal hospitality thing.
Can I backtrack and instead of offering jasmine tea, can I offer green tea?
And isn't jasmine tea green tea?
Well,
Yeah.
I want to specifically offer matcha, and I want to do a traditional tea.
Ooh,
like,
yeah.
Oh. Well, you know what? Because you rolled a crit on the performance, I can totally say that that's what you do. You offer him a food and drink in the style of his homeland.
ceremony.
Oh, I'm suddenly remembering my EF1 bard.
Your tea
Aw.
ceremony bard.
No one ever wanted to do the tea ceremony, even though it was a stackable buff.
Aw. That's lame. That
It
sounds
was.
fun.
It was a +1 on top of the bard song +1, but it does take 10 minutes to do. So it was a little impractical. You'd had to do it before the fight started.
Yeah.
That is a good buff.
Yeah.
I'm sad I never got to play with that bard. Anyway.
All right.
Anyway.
So now he is.
He is much more receptive to a final diplomacy check to move him up to helpful. He's friendly to you now. Just need to move him to helpful, and he'll be receptive to your arguments.
Okay. And then we're gonna try one more
Performance.
I think I would want to tell him the story of how we became lore speakers, just because I feel like we've had some pretty crazy adventures, some pretty funny times, and
Dragons do like good stories. They're a long-lived species. They need to keep entertained.
so using some of my Uzumjati storytelling and a little bit of help from Florabunda. She's doing a little dance and just
Little shadow play.
in at little times in the story, which will give me a +1 to this roll. Thanks, Druid Archetype. A 43.
That is a resounding success. Yeah, so what is the solution you guys would like to settle on? Would you like to convince him to give the school another chance in looking after it, and that, I don't know, maybe he can, come see the scepter on weekends or something? Because
Visitation rights.
you guys do mention the possibility of some sort of joint ownership, but he does mention that he has his own concerns back in Tian. He's got his own horde, and he does narrow his eyes and tilt his head down a little bit at even just the implication that you might be suggesting that he is a guard dog for hire. This is a proud
Alright, you
dragon
can
that
kill
has
me.
lived several times your lifetimes.
Okay, he can burn me up then.
Well, what if
I don't
we
think he's
say,
gonna do that.
what if we say that we're just not, we don't believe in our security. Like our security is just not great, and we need somebody who knows what they're doing.
um,
We need a professional.
because you rolled so well, um, he appreciates the position you guys are in, that the Magambia's position is that you want to keep the scepter, and you've convinced him of this with your good roll. He will agree to stay on for a little bit and give the people in charge of guarding the artifacts the benefit of his long experience having horde and stuff, while you mentally think to yourself, your experience guarding your horde, which we took the scepter from. But you don't say that, and the fact that you are essentially asking him for, please grace us with your boundless experience and wisdom, does play into a dragon's ego a little bit.
Yeah.
So,
He could even watch. He could even bring his horde shop if he really wanted to.
You've got a dangerous mind, Ophelia.
he lacks the necessary context for that to be especially appealing. Um,
No, I think
But-
it was a good idea for him to stay here because I also think maybe the students can learn from him a little bit too. So I think that was a good idea, Charlotte. And then we can keep it and maybe destroy it at some point.
I mean, the first attempt didn't go so well. Who
First
knows?
attempt split it into 3. Next attempt will split it into 8, probably.
But yeah, he will without in a little while. Rado Khan, the honored, will leave without resorting to violence. Asanu thanks you guys profusely for your assistance, and you are awarded with the Gorget of the Primal Roar, which is a level 11 magic item. This engraved Darkwood Gorget seems to vibrate with ferocity, granting you a +2 item bonus to intimidation checks. It has some abilities you can activate. One action command, once during the duration of each. This is very specifically form via a polymorph effect. The effect, once you activate it, then you unleash a. Hold on, we'll pop it up on the screen. You unleash a bestial roar, attempting a single intimidation.
Nope.
The creature is frightened 2, is on a critical success. Success, the creature is frightened 1. Failure, the creature is unaffected. Basically, it is a thing that allows you, while polymorphed, to do an AoE intimidation.
Interesting.
It's my Wi-Fi that's having issues tonight.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Well, that looks like a good Igora item.
I
Because
don't.
Do you plan on polymorphing Igor at some point?
I don't actually have any use for it. We can sell it.
What about your intimidation?
It
I
literally
say
is.
in character.
It is literally less. It literally provides me less of a boost to it than what I currently have going on for me.
Oh, all right. Well, we
Yeah.
can sell it, split the profits.
I mean,
It
you don't
is
want to keep
sellable.
it. You didn't want to keep it for yourself, Avi, for when you're a Dragon.
That is technically not a polymorph spell. That is a battle form spell.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they would be
Well-
considered the same thing for the purposes of this item.
That's
You
up
know
to
what?
guys.
The dragon form does have the polymorph tag, so
Yeah.
That would be more of an
Um,
Avi item then.
That's 1,200 gold pieces that we could put towards something that might be more valuable. Because I
Add it
can't
to the
really.
pile and forget about it.
I mean,
Listen.
add it to the horde.
Add it
We
to the
have our
pile.
horde.
You're among the sewer rats, a breath away from hell. You get accustomed to the smell.
Gross. Well, job well done.
It's Les Mis. What do you want from me?
Bargain well struck. I'm gonna go see about a tiefling. Anyone is welcome to come with me if that is what they want to do.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Maybe we can mess with her a bit. Igora, does that
We're
sound fun to
so-
you?
It
difficult
literally doesn't. It literally doesn't. I'm good. I'm going to stay away from the black hat and everything that has to do with it. You all go do. You all
The
go
Black Cat
do.
is technically done with his location.
See previous. I'm going to stay away from everything that has to do with it. You three go do your thing. It's all good. I'm going to go and teach my class.
I'm
That's a-
gonna.
Oh god, is Igra the responsible one in the group?
It's
No, I just
If it
don't.
means avoiding Mercedes.
Yeah.
Charlotte?
I will respectfully decline. Thank you.
Oh. Okay. Sounds good.
It's written all over Avi's face that she has a million questions, but has gotten the sense that you don't feel in the mood to answer them.
well, Igora, would you rather reconnaissance later then?
For what?
For the cult?
I hate to say this, but for all of like our main missions right now, functionally, I am completely useless. For research, I am dumb as bricks.
But researching a cult is not
For the research that we're trying to do for the gates
don't,
and
like-
for all of that, I am literally
like,
useless.
research.
I'm an idiot, and I wear that with pride. I'm not mentally strong. I'm physically strong and somewhat charismatic, but there's not much I can do with that. I've gotten as much as I can probably get out of looking at that cult without joining it, and I'm sorry, that's a hard line for me. I'm not joining another cult.
We would never ask you to.
Yeah, we
Yeah. So, unfortunately, I'm kind of just in a waiting mode right now. And I have to,
Fair enough.
kind of rely on all of you because all of you are a lot better at everything that we have to do right now.
And
Than
that's
I am.
okay.
And that's fine. I'll be here to help out when you need some help. All right? Cool.
Sounds good. I'll see you later.
Oh, bounce.
Alright, well, I guess we'll deal with that then. So, who all is going with Avi to wherever she is choosing to go?
I'll go.
Just Ophelia.
To maybe mess with her.
Poor Mercedes has had such a hard time. Also, Avi isn't aware of this, but Ophelia is. There is a Knight of a Bendigo wandering around the city somewhere. And I have no idea about it. Ophelia might.
I thought we got rid of them.
Are you guys talking about the animated suit of armor?
We sure are.
Roll me a D100.
Oh, that guy.
73.
Yeah, they're down a sinkhole right now. Don't worry about them.
Thank God.
You don't know that, obviously, but you have no reason to believe they're anywhere near the city.
Avi has no idea they were even brought back from Jula by Mercedes. So this was just a
that
plot.
guy.
Oh, that guy.
I thought you meant the
that
one you
guy.
fought.
That one too. We've just got a bunch of suits of armor at our doorstep. But yeah, Mercedes.
Yeah, that was an aside, I think.
It was, but there was that aside or no, they are still here in Nantambu. Their bonds
Doing their
recently
thing.
broken.
I mean, it's
Um,
possible they saw the error of their ways and have gone to live a solitary life in the woods.
What
Until
a
that one
blessed
night.
soul is Mercedes.
Until that one night where they were climbing into their little tree house and they saw a giant frog fly down from it and someone climbed out and made camp near their house. And he remembered a face seen in the crowd in the rebellion in Jula.
He was all ready to start a new life of good and holy ways, and then he saw Eager.
I'm not saying what the result of that sighting was.
Listen, seeing Igora has that effect on people, apparently.
It has an effect.
Back
It's
to my
fine.
class.
All right, so I'm going to see Mercedes, and hopefully she is in a place where she would like to talk to us, maybe. Who's to say what sort of mood she's in at present?
Avi,
Uh,
what should we bring her?
Oh, I'm bringing her the magic items we were able to save from the shop, which admittedly wasn't a lot, but better than nothing, and I'm kind of hoping she's willing to part with one of them. But,
Well, if she wants a snack or something.
oh, that's a good idea. I don't know if I know what food she likes. Maybe tea? I think she likes tea.
Oh,
I have some tea.
What do you want? The souls of the innocent. A bagel. No!
Ah, two bagels. All right. Well, I'll bring some tea. I think Avi's the kind of person who just has handfuls of tea on her.
do you have any of the tea that Kiara gave you?
I do. I've been saving it for a special occasion.
I think this is a special occasion. Maybe it'll jog something.
Well, I suppose we'll see if she needs jogging. Maybe she's feeling better.
Well, I think she's pretty fit, so maybe she won't need jogging, but
Yeah.
Ba-dum-bum.
We'll see. We'll see.
You see, you can tell Avi is really hesitant about giving up that like little piece of connection to her friend.
Let it go. Let
I
it
know.
I mean, like,
Very
if you
that.
want, I can give you her yoga mat, but like, that's a little
Oh,
weird.
that feels a little gross.
Yeah.
A tea was a gift. Like that's one a gift from a friend. That's one thing. Like her yoga mat. I don't know. That's really. I'm a little surprised you still have that.
mat.
That's true. That's true.
Out of curiosity, have you ever used it, Ophelia?
When we did yoga in the on the lawn, yeah,
But not since.
but not since.
Okay.
You haven't kept up with the yoga class.
No.
Well, no one's picked up the reins.
Oh,
that's so sad. You
It
haven't-
was kind of groundbreaking for a magic school to have a yoga class. So, I mean, you guys don't have a nurse, you don't have a yoga
I was about to
class.
say, yeah. Why would
I
we
know
have a yoga
Kiara
class?
left and we're fucking up shit creek without her. All right, I'm not going into the hotel, knocking on the hotel door.
Hello.
Actually, before you even get there, you find Snow in sort of the lobby bar.
Oh, Snow.
Nearly falls off their stool.
Uh-oh.
No, I'm
Snow,
just normally
it's-
like this.
12:30 in the afternoon.
I know it's just bubbly. It's just sparkling water.
Okay.
We smell it.
I mean, to be fair, in my defense, even if I was, it's happy hour in Last Wall.
But we're not in Last Wall.
I mean, yeah, I know.
Okay. All right. If you know,
Beer
how
nuts?
is? You know what? I would
The
love
bartender
a beer nut, thank
like
you.
shoots daggers, like staring like daggers at Snow.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
How is our friend? Acquaintance?
She is doing all right. She has moved on to reading some of the old correspondence that kind of piled up. Um, she's doing all right. It's a lot to take in. We're trying to sort of drip feed things to her, but she's out of bed. She is reading. She is playing Knucklebones with Black Tusk. We're still waiting to tell her about our other friend who's still missing. The Pathfinder Society is not being helpful at all. Uh, you'd think they'd be able to keep better track of one of their own adventurers missing.
Speaking of things that she might not want to hear about, have you told her about the decapitation incident? Or are we waiting on that one too?
We haven't gone so into specifics. We mentioned that there was a fight, and that is sort of the point where her memory really gets incredibly foggy. It's a little weird for her the period after she did the ritual to kind of invoke the devilish side of her tiefling heritage. Things were getting a little spotty for her. She was kind of losing time. Kind of gestures for you to sit down a little closer with. I'm not sure what you all saw during the ritual, but Black Tusk and I have been talking about some of the things Mercedes has told us about what she kind of viewed from her perspective in the time leading up to the fight, where she got decapitated. And we've started to form a new hypothesis about something.
Oh?
We are starting to think that it wasn't just that she sort of, awoke whatever devilish influence was in her blood. We're starting to think she actually invited something into herself, an actual intelligence, something external.
As part of her original ritual or
Yes.
afterwards?
In the original ritual, she thought she was just kind of trying to get more in touch with their heritage and drawing on that power. We're worried now that she may have literally called someone that came and partially possessed her and was slowly kind of like influencing her and eating away at her mind, possibly, which was causing her to lose time and become, more cruel and callous. And that's what led to the fight. And we think actually cutting off her head at that one point sort of cut the process into stasis, where she wasn't getting any better, but she wasn't getting any worse.
Gotcha. That is an interesting
And
hypothesis.
I wanted to ask, during the ritual, did you see anything that made you think there might have been a third party involved in everything? There was myself and Black Tusk, there was you and your friends, but we're wondering, did you see anything that might have been a third party involved? Because we're trying to get confirmation on this hypothesis.
I didn't see anything.
And out of character, I don't think Charlotte told us.
But I did hear sort of her voice, or at least the voice that I recognized as Mercedes, sort of trying to sow seeds of doubt and mistrust between me and my friends, trying to say that, oh, like, Igra is gonna stop the ritual, and like that sort of thing that I sort of quickly sussed out was not uh it was at least a third party, if not Mercedes, then some sort of third party trying to stop the ritual from happening.
Snow kind of thinks about that, kind of seems to be lost in thought for a moment, then turns back to the bartender. Hey, Mickey. Michelle. My name is Michelle. Yeah. The amber gold now. It's like, finally. Pours Snow a drink and hands it to it, and Snow downs it in one gulp. Which, alright, well, that does sound like it's a pretty strong hypothesis then, which unfortunately does raise another concern. Does that mean that the ritual destroyed this intelligence, or simply removed it from Mercedes? And if it's the latter, where did it go?
I would assume it's the latter because that was a purification ritual, not a destroying demon ritual.
I mean, purification has many meanings. And she starts, like, trying to tongue what remains in the glass.
just get another one.
This stuff's expensive.
Well, then you should have sipped it.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I know. No judgment. Um,
Oh,
well, that
I
all
have-
sounds like
I have
a
these.
concern that I do not have answers for at the moment, but perhaps I can research the Megambia. Um,
I mean, I'd be grateful.
of course, of course. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, Mercedes is a friend. I don't know if she considers me a friend, or even if she ever considered me a friend, really, but I guess I've got a soft spot for her and I want to see her do well. So I'm happy to do that. Use the Magambia's resources that we have. There is the matter, though, of the Black Hat, and all of those possessions that are technically hers, and what she wants to do with them. We managed to salvage a few. There was an extra dimensional space in the basement that, sort of collapsed not long after the ritual finished. But we managed to scavenge a little.
Well, I have two things to say to all that. First of all, if she does end up being the person that we knew, I think she's more than happy to have more friends. I can't speak to what she thought in the time in between. We may never know, really. And as to the Black Hat, I can't speak for her currently because we haven't really discussed that with her yet so much. But I would personally bet she probably wants nothing to do with it.
I had the same thought myself, but I wanted to confirm it with her. Before assets are moved. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in there. It's worth a lot of gold. I mean, she could really set herself up for quite a while. Could buy a lot of those with what's in the Black Hat.
Point at the drink.
Oh, you make a compelling argument. And it should be noted, I suppose without the Black Hat, she doesn't have any money.
That's kind of my point. I'm not
Oh,
suggesting that she runs it if that's not what she wants to do anymore, of course, but
by the way, if you see your many-armed friend,
Charlotte.
please pass on Mercedes' thanks again. She loves the clothes that were brought to her. She's been wearing the really comfy one a lot, which in this heat is maybe not advisable at the times. But she says it feels like wearing a pillow. So
Fluffy one.
Did I know that Charlotte made that journey to the hotel? I don't think I
not.
did.
Like we know.
Snow doesn't know that you
Today.
don't know.
You learnt about it today, Avi.
Avi just sort of tactfully nods. Tactfully nods again at the image of Mercedes in pillowy pink pajamas and decides to not really say anything about it.
Well, I guess she's probably still not ready for visitors, huh?
I'd give it maybe another week.
All right.
Just so, because she's still dealing with all her old correspondence. She's got a lot going on in her head right now.
She's
Well-
a very busy young lady.
Well, tell her that we're down to have a fluffy pajama party soon.
I may wait a week to tell her that because she may want to rush out and do it immediately, and I'm not sure she's ready for that.
Don't have to tell her anything crazy.
I mean,
Just have a nice time. She would enjoy herself.
We can even host in the library.
Mm-hmm.
she does love to read.
It might be nice for her to get out.
So
Yeah.
please, for the love of the great Taskmaster in the sky, please keep any books about devils away from her. Because she has essentially been reset, I don't want her to go down the exact same path she went previously.
That would be very
I
funny.
will look through our archives and make sure there is nothing of this sort on the shelves.
I mean,
help you.
eventually we're going to tell her what happened, so hopefully she would learn from that previous thing and not, but this time.
Right. Right.
Avi, I didn't take you for a book banner.
Oh, ew, Ophelia. That's... Ew. I'm not a book banner. I would not
Ophelia
ban
has
these
just
books.
chosen
I
violence
will
tonight.
put them out of sight of someone who I think might come to harm from them. There's a difference, I think.
I mean, degrees.
Okay. Well, pajama party tonight. Who else should we invite?
Well, maybe next week.
Next
Because she
week.
has a lot of correspondence. And
Some-
we do have
some
a lot
bitch.
of research to do and classes to run.
Oh god, are you guys teachers?
Also, give Igor the heads up
some
so he can go
reason-
find somewhere else to
Wow.
stay for the night.
We're actually pretty good teachers, so that's a little rude.
I mean, I was a teacher at a Bard college once.
Yeah, but this is like a college.
What did you
Cuts.
teach?
Ouch.
Cuts to
I
Charlotte's
just figured
class.
if we were trading barbs like that,
Brutal.
that was the energy in the space.
Well, no, there was no insult intended with you guys being teacher. That was more
You
just an
said
admission.
you guys are teachers? With that tone and inflection that implied that you were surprised
I'm
and
a
did
bard.
not
I
feel
can't help but have
positive.
cutting words. I'm sorry.
It's true.
Back me up. Back me up.
I won't fault you there.
Ophelia's a peach. I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway,
Oh,
you
gee.
send Mercedes our best.
Of course.
What a sweetie.
And we will have tea and fuzzy pajamas and lots of books. Hey, maybe she'd like to enroll at the Magambia.
We're just as a word of warning, though, she's becoming quite the knucklebones fiend. She seems to love her games of chance.
Knucklebones as well.
We're just hoping she doesn't get back into those collectible card games she used to be in.
Oh, I've heard those can be really addictive.
She sent so much gold. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And this is coming
Yeah.
from someone who has literally drunk themselves out of a lucrative teaching position.
Well, and I've heard that. I'm sorry, that sounds problematic. But
Hey, it makes a
I've
great
also
story.
heard that the community around those trading card games is really, really toxic sometimes.
I
And you
mean,
have to
It
protect
varies.
your peace.
I mean, I hear there's a pretty good community in like some of the dwarf holds. They have very strict rules in terms of their play styles. Very traditional.
Yeah.
They still use like mana burn, I think.
Well, we'll see you in a week.
All right. Hey, Mikey,
now we can
another one.
get back to the research portion of our program.
Yes. So, as a reminder, I can close the RhinoCon thing. You guys actually did manage to get, I think, both the research points for the Lobane, the Guardians of the Door. You got 1 level out of 2 for the doorway itself. And what other than just gaining the knowledge that the track exists, you hadn't got any of the points into the King of Biting Ants yet.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't know anything about them other than their name. and
What
it's-
do we need to roll for Ant-Man?
For Ant-Man
It's occultism.
Ant-Man. Occultism?
or MCU lore, no.
I'll make an occultism roll.
Yeah, Academia lore, Library lore, and Cultism lore.
I'm gonna make an occultism roll. Well, you know what? It's 8:30. I'll hero point it. Nat fucking 20.
Critical.
Tell me everything about this Ant-Man.
Build the team.
So when he was young, no,
What
he was a
his
young
childhood
ant
like?
lad.
When he was an young and lad.
All right,
Very
so
nice.
first research point. The king of biting ants was an ancient sorcerer whose body was said to comprise countless poisonous ants. His evil magics threatened the peace and freedom of the people of the Mawagi Expanse, until Jatambe and the 10 magic warriors defeated him at his stronghold, the Doorway to the Red Star, thousands of years ago. Second, many stories claim that Jatambe destroyed the king of biting ants. Others indicate that he drove the vile sorcerer back through the doorway to the Red Star. The truth might be a mixture of the tales. Documents attributed to the first descendant of the 10 magic warriors refer to the infinite eggs that granted the king of biting ants a strange form of immortality, even in the face of utter destruction. What these infinite eggs truly were, and whether they survived the king of biting ants' defeat at Jatambe's hands, remains unknown. It's very hard to get rid of a bug infestation because their eggs could be in tiny crevices. Did anyone ever see Million Ants in Rick and Morty?
No.
Probably. I've watched all the episodes, but sometimes they all sort of blend together into a mishmash of, oh, Rick!
Oh, jeez. Oh, man.
Yeah, no, very that. That's my S-tier Rick and Morty impression. You're welcome.
So yeah, that was an excellent success in that regard.
Yay!
And so that's Avi's role for this 2-week period. If anyone wants to roll the religion or library lore or academia lore for Doorway to the Red Star.
I only have Magambia lore.
I don't think... Matt, what's the DC?
For
Academia
religion,
lore.
Academia lore is 34.
Okay, I think I can... What is it?
Crit fish.
Yeah, that's the only skill that I have. Mine. Here we go. Yeah, 34.
Exactly what you needed. So
I have to roll a what? I have to roll an 18 to get that.
and you got it.
Oh my god.
Hence
All
I'm
right.
saying,
So, now I'm trying to remember. Did I say you guys hadn't gotten one? You had gotten one of this or none?
Yeah.
I have not kept
One.
track of
I
it.
think this is the door. I think I got one crit last time. I got one crit last time. I don't remember on what it was.
I think it was on the Lilbane.
Yeah.
We learned about that the doorway was guarded by the war chief Mapondo.
Yeah, that was the Lilbane lore. You know what? I'm just
Yeah.
gonna, because I think you guys got at least one in the doorway itself, but I'm gonna read both things of the doorway now. The area around the doorway to the Red Star has been a source of conflict during many ages and generations. Whether it is something tied to the history of magic of the doorway, or simple coincidence, is unclear. But evil threats inevitably arise, and only the intervention of heroes like the 10 magic warriors ever marks a return to peace in the area. The last great evil to lay claim to the doorway was a nihilistic cult known as the Throat of Nothingness. Little is known of the cult, for its members share their religious beliefs only with converts. Such conversion typically involves transformation into an undead creature. Yeah, I remember reading this now.
I remember this.
Yeah, few spies have been successful in infiltrating their ranks and returning. This research confirms that the doorway can only open once or twice each year, during which time it remains potentially active for about a month. But also that it hasn't been opened in decades. The next window of potential activity is not long after this new semester is scheduled to end. And this is the new thing for this week. Before the Lilbane defeated most of its members and trapped the remaining members inside the cult's cathedral, the Throat of Nothingness gained and held control of the doorway to the Red Star for several years. During this time, the cathedral became a recruitment center, drawing those who sought nothingness and held entropy supreme. Those who passed the cult's tests and impressed its converts are said to have passed through the doorway to the Red Star. Given that none of the cult's leaders are known to have ever passed through the doorway, it's unclear if this honor was truly what it was presented to be, or merely a cruel and sinister trick to rid the cult of threats to its leadership's supremacy. In any event, while the cult still controls the Cathedral of Nothingness itself, it hasn't been active in the surrounding region for years. So, they are a potentially bottled threat.
Interesting.
Nice. I mean, I guess Ophelia and Shar could still also roll to see if we get more info, right?
Yeah, definitely. I think we still need more info on the
Lobane.
No, I think you
No.
actually got you got everything. I think you guys may have. There's only the 3 research tracks actually, and you may
Oh,
have gotten
sick.
them all now.
Sweet.
We just need one more occultism check.
The one thing I'm good at. Next week.
Cultism check?
Well, no, actually,
Yeah.
because McKenna got a crit for that occultism, so she got the 2 research. You guys have gotten 2 researches on everything now.
Yay!
But I'm going to say that brings us to the end of this 4th week. Now, during the time that you guys have been reaching this, another person has come forth who's been kind of helpful to you. Izem Mizutani, or just Izem for short. They are a male ASMR human archaeologist, or Nephilim in the new rules. They specialize in exploration and archaeology, but are an expert in many fields. They are a somewhat controversial figure, you've learned as you've kind of talked to other members of the faculty. Izem has nearly as many doctorates from prestigious universities as he has outstanding arrest warrants from places as far as Coriton or Thronestop. If the heroes haven't, subtly implied that they might be invited on the expedition, they've mentioned a few times in a not so subtle fact that they'd love to accompany you on this expedition. They have some independent research they want to do in the ruined complexes around the doorway. But recently, Izem has seemed a little distracted and harried, and you've even caught them seemingly like kind of dozing off because they seem to be lacking sleep.
Hello. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to scare you.
Oh, did I nod off again?
Only a little bit for like an hour or for. I didn't want to wake you up because it seemed like.
I'm sorry,
Maybe
Igor.
I
Could you pass me some of the coffee there?
Yeah,
You guys
here
are
you
like
go.
in one of the staff research rooms. Oh, thank you.
No worries.
You want
This
to
is-
talk about what's keeping you up?
You guys have so much on your plate right now. I don't want to burden you with my personal problems.
No, we're actually way ahead of schedule in terms of research. We had 3 months until the door opened, and we sort of knocked it all out in a month. So
What they say about you guys is true.
What do they say?
Well, they say Avi Avi hits the books, Igora hits the baddies,
I hate it.
Ophelia knocks the crowd dead, and Charlotte just knocks potentially many people dead with poison.
Suppose that's
I am very good at hitting books.
correct.
not a lot.
Avi,
But-
you hit books?
Metaphorically.
Since you guys have asked, I'll be honest. Since the time around you guys got back from your trip to Mazzali, like give or take maybe a week, I think someone's been following me.
Oh.
Oh.
I also think they've been in my apartment and they've rifled through my things.
Oh.
Hmm.
Like it's little things. Like I put a book down by my bedside in the morning, like at night. It was there when I left in the morning to go to work, and then when I came back, it was on the floor. And a drawer left open that I banged my knee into, which I never leave drawers open. I keep a pretty clean house. Things are just not where they should be. Things have been moved around, and it is. I at first I thought I was just being forgetful, but it doesn't seem like it. There's too many things, and they just don't make sense. Like
Is it possible you're sleepwalking when you do get to bed?
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, if you want, maybe we can like set up a watch party, or maybe I can scry. Do you have a general time frame from when you think people
I mean-
are rifling through your stuff?
I'm going to say something, and I don't want you guys to think that I'm paranoid or anything, but I had considered a plan, and I was going to ask maybe someone to help me with this. It's very obvious that they're only coming into the place when I'm not there, and they know I'm not there because I have a regular schedule at the school.
Oh.
But I checked the schedule, and I think you guys have like a free period during the day while I'm teaching a class. Would you mind staking out, like maybe hiding in my apartment?
Yeah, we do mind.
Sounds so fun! I don't mind. Ophelia can stay in the library. This sounds like fun.
Well, okay. Well, that wasn't the reaction I was looking for, but yes, I want to go.
I'll treat y'all to dinner, assuming like I should mention.
Mm.
You may have heard a little bit about my reputation, and it's a very small
Awards.
chance, but there is a chance that the people getting into my apartment could be bounty hunters, or maybe even assassins.
Well,
And-
whoever it is,
Okay.
well, how big is your apartment? I can turn into a dragon and scare a real
Please don't do that.
bad.
It's not very big, and it is rent controlled, so I'd like to keep it intact.
Well, it's large. I'm like at large. I don't get huge. I get like gamma sized.
Okay,
Obviously.
Gamma is already pushing it.
Your apartment.
Okay.
I can just
All right.
not summon Gamma for it. That's fine.
Avi, when did you become so destructive?
I'm not destructive. I just don't
Destroying
like the
books,
idea
hitting
of
books,
someone
destroying apartments.
threatening a teacher at our respected school. I don't think that's appropriate. So I'm gonna show Moo's boss.
All
It's
right.
me. I'm boss.
Is that you? Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Thank you for specifying.
Very strong, Avi.
Known otherwise.
So if you are all interested in assisting Izemi with this, they will show you to their apartment, which, while the rooms aren't very big, it's a pretty spacious apartment and nearly palatial. Plenty of side rooms and receiving areas where the heroes can lie. They appear to have been maybe a little modest. Can lie and wait undetected. So you guys
I could
can.
definitely be a dragon in here.
You could.
Do it.
The idea is to catch the people in the act.
Yes. I just want to stare them.
So, if you guys want, you can specify to me. There isn't really a map for this because it's very contingent on like the interior of an apartment. But if you want, you can ask questions and determine where you guys would like to hide. If there are any sort of magical traps or anything, I don't know, a bucket of flour on a door if you want to set up.
Oh, interesting.
Poison needles in the rugs.
I will say something that I wanted to insist upon before being brought to the apartment is that we enter under the guise of like invisible sphere.
Yeah, we can do that. Shar, you think you could throw some glue together?
Should we Home Alone the place?
What do I have to roll to
Suppose
home
I
alone the
could.
shit out of this place?
I think you may have to get Charlotte's expertise in that because that would be a crafting check. No, I'd like you to specify what you're doing. Are
The
we?
brick.
The floor is yours, my spidery friend.
I mean, seems like Igora has kind of an idea. You tell me what you want and I'll try and make it.
All yours, Charlotte. I just suggested some glue on the ground, but you got more? Do it.
I mean, I could indicate some of the sticky sap that I have usually for my bombs and maybe place it on the handles,
I mean,
window frames.
you're a high enough level alchemist, Sarah. If you want, you can just roll a crafting check and you can just make glue.
That's very true. So, well, good. I guess I'll do that. 44.
You can make whatever glue you want.
Okay, so Charlotte just kind of walks around the apartment and just kind of, you just see her like bring stuff out and just kind of like with tripwires, bloop, click,
Ooh.
and then have it where there's a little container that kind of just like looks like a jet or something, like a little punch on the door frame, and then on the bottom she lifts up one of the floorboards and then just kind of like and you see her like with multiple arms putting glue shoots
Oh my.
and then just puts the board back down and you could see it kind of looks like it's pressure plated now.
Nice.
Charlotte has created the Tomb of Glue Horrors.
Ooh.
Glorious.
And then just kind
Oh,
of like
God.
turns and looks at all of you and goes, okay.
You okay, Shar?
So they specifically said that they felt like they were being watched like in their sleep and stuff was going on in their office or in their bedroom.
Basically, the proof they have of this is not so much that they felt like when they were walking around that someone was following behind them, just
Uh-huh.
that someone has been in their apartment when they're not there and has moved things around.
Okay, so let me retcon and say that these little contraptions were in the doorways leading to like a back bedroom where there's stuff that they would be rifling through as opposed to the front entrance.
All right.
All right.
Just make sure the windows are double
Oh
locked.
God, what if it's their landlord being a creep?
Oh God. Do they have like an office specifically?
They have like a second bedroom that they repurposed into a small office.
Because there's a spell that I want to try to use that would let me kind of see into the past a little bit. Because I want to see. Because I'm like, why would this person be here? If they're here, clearly they have something to hide that this person is looking for in here.
Well, they have a bounty on their head.
Yes, but
So any information about them?
just killing them outright would be kind of easy.
Well, it might not be a dead or alive sort of bounty. It might be an alive sort of bounty.
But then they would have already done something. I think there's more to it.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like some of those bounty hunting types like to play with
I
their food a
really
little
feel
bit.
like we're overcomplicating a situation where we can just sit here and wait for the person at this point.
Endures in Darkness, who has been here the entire time, speaks up. I do think we are lacking in some pieces of the puzzle, and he kind of uncorks the thermos he brought of hot tea and pours a cup for everyone.
No thanks,
Like
Enders.
there's a darkness. What a thoughtful thing to do. I mean,
Thank you.
I guess we'll find out why they're here when we catch them in the act.
All right. So I'm going to go around the table, and you guys can sort of, if you want, you can make up furnishings in the room if it helps you. Where is everyone hiding? Unless you want to just recast glow invisibility and stand in the middle of a room.
Well, that spell only lasts for like 10 minutes, so that's probably not the best plan.
Matt,
Yes.
does he have a large enough gap under his bed frame to maybe crawl underneath?
Shimmy under? Totally. He's got one of those beds with like proper legs and everything, and unlike me, he doesn't store a bunch of stuff under his bed.
Okay, I'm shifting to my true form. I'm gonna crawl underneath it.
I'm sorry, that's a bit of a nightmare fuel for me.
Igoro's going to go and hide in the
Big
bathtub.
spider under the bed. Oh god.
I kind of want to Spider-Man it up in like the corner on the ceiling. Like kind of like by the door when you come in, so he maybe wouldn't see me right away.
That's a really fuzzy dream catcher.
Yeah, or at least like a particularly dark ceiling corner.
Totally. Igra, sorry, did you say where you were hiding?
Bathtub.
It's a very nice bathtub.
Just lying down in the bathtub.
Like some sort of hydro-based vampire.
Yeah.
And, Ophelia.
I think Ophelia would hide in like the armoire, like wardrobe kind of situation.
Find there's a crack in the back wall of it with a bit of cool air coming through in the light of a lamppost.
Narnia Arc! Narnia Arc!
Is Narnia an isekai?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it is. Yeah. Can I try spell with Or
Sorry?
in the bedroom. It's retro
Oh my.
coverage. And it lets me concentrate and see like the ghosts of what has happened here before.
The Nimbus special.
Ooh, all right. So you get kind of two sort of like different time periods of events in this room. They're kind of like shadows and sounds and stuff. It's like you're hearing events happening in a room nearby where you can't fully make everything out.
Okay.
You hear like the sound of the chair being moved, the scratching of quills, some humming. You get the impression that this is the person who lives here, just working in their study. You hear the sounds of book closing, a little squeaky lantern being turned off, the oil thing. Sort of a period of nothing. And then you hear giggling. And sound of something whooshing through the air. And that's the only impression you get.
Giggling and the sound of something whooshing through the air. Okay.
Right. Are you guys all in your hiding spots now?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. You guys wait, and you wait for a little while, and you're starting to wonder if they were just being paranoid. And then you hear the sound of the latch of the window opening from the inside, and some twinkling sound, ding, like some like musical notes, and some giggling. And the
Can I, from my perch up in the corner of the ceiling, which should grant me some pretty decent
oh yeah,
visibility.
you can exactly
What am I
see what's
seeing?
happening. You are seeing a let me just double check how many we're talking about here. You see 6 small little slight figures sparkling and flitting through the air. Give me a actually, you know what? No, you don't need to roll this because it's something very close to home for you. It is a group of 6 pixies. Like actual like Tinkerbell looking pixies though, come flittering in.
No, at least Tinker
and
the truckers.
a couple of them immediately start just kind of bouncing on the bed and laughing quietly to themselves. A few others
Charlotte.
immediately go to the dresser and start like looking inside jars and stuff and opening the jewelry case on the thing, and they're sort of whispering to each other in like such quick little voices. It sounds like someone speeded up a recording of something. They seem to be just having a gay old time, as the
They
expression.
sound normal to Avi Avi.
Yeah, they
Just to
sound
put that out there.
normal.
Silly little
Everyone
pixies.
gets a message saying, I don't think they're bounty hunters. We have about 6. Did you say pixies?
Yes, 2 of them are now mock sword fighting on the dresser with a comb.
They're eager-sized if they're pixies. They're small instead of tiny.
Well, these are very small pixies.
Are they?
They're-
Is Matt? Would the room fit in a 15-foot cone? Like, could I get them all?
You'd
in a
miss
15-foot
about-
cone.
You'd miss about 10 feet of the room, maybe, and they are scattered about.
Damn.
And
Uh,
they're moving pretty quickly. They don't seem to be concentrating on one
If
mischievous
I can
activity very
reply,
much.
I'll be like, Avi, get them in one spot, and I can hoover them up with Gamakichi.
No, we don't. We're not killing them. That's
No,
the
not
whole
to kill them.
point.
They just get...
Speaking of the only person who's out in the open right now, Avi, please give
Yeah.
me a stealth check to remain hidden.
I do have a small bonus to this because of the Cloak of Elvenkind, so thank God for that.
Wait, you're a pixie, not an elf.
35. I'll take a 35.
All right, I'm gonna roll. Does they have perception, or I just have to do this?
I think it's their
It's the
passive, is it
perception
not?
DC, so 10 plus the perception modifier.
Okay, so you do remain stealthy to them. One of them actually flies by and looks at you and just goes, like you don't pass the vibe check in terms of furnishings.
So they're inside this room. Did they come in through a window in that room, or do they?
Yes, they use some sort of like little magic to open the window
Okay.
latch from the inside.
Can I stealth my way? Oh, I cannot stealth my way over that window.
To be fair, these things don't look like a threat at all.
I know. I just don't want to like leave the window open, and be like, "Hey, what the fuck, guys," and then have them run out. I don't have a way of communicating with anyone, so I will simply stay in the tub until I'm told to go.
He says via message, I could turn into a dragon and yell at him real loud to not come back to this place. I don't think they're here on, like, bounty hunting business.
The Tinkerbell Corps. Secret bounty hunters.
What do we think? Y'all can respond to a message.
We always get our man. Sling.
I mean, we can scare them.
I'm assuming you guys at this point are using the schemer's rings.
I have a message cantrip that I'm
Okay.
individually messaging people with because I have not gotten Mercedes Express permission.
I mean, we can... if we want to scare them, I can just pop up and be like, yo. And we can scare them.
There was a group of these near my mother's house, and I happen to know that there is a fey creature that they dislike very much. Wouldn't it be crazy if our friend happened to get a pet? And suddenly, every time they come in here, something was stalking them. I don't think they'll come back anymore.
You wanna go? Go chase.
You guys hear Webley like, I mean, I'll do it. I don't like to scare people, but...
Dear sweet Webley.
They don't like cats.
I am going to send out Agate to be...
Who I'm assuming, because Agate is an actual cat, not like a magical familiar, has been like hiding under a dresser or something.
Yes.
Alright, so Agate kind of crawls to the edge of the under the dresser and then kind of like does that thing where, you know, baby cats try and scare their moms and the mom has to react to encourage them. And the pixies all like fly up immediately to a little clump in the ceiling and look scared and then like, it's the Agate. And they start kind of glancing nervously around the room. Do you think they're here?
Can I use ghost sound to make more Dwemer cat meows and hisses from around the apartment?
Sure.
I do that.
They start, oh boy, what are you conjuring?
I want to summon an Elananx, which is a cat fae.
Oh no. Alright, so the fairies just, the little pixies just go crazy and are like bouncing around the room now in panic and everything.
Now that I hear the panic, Matt, Igra gets out of the tub and just walks over to the window and shuts it.
They immediately focus on you, and they all go down onto the bed and put their heads down like they're bowing.
Alright,
We're very
listen,
sorry.
I'm not Ophelia, so that doesn't do anything for me.
No, but we know of you. We're big fans.
You know, the last time there was an adoring fan, they tried to kill us. So
We don't have the context for that.
yeah. Okay, why are you breaking into this guy's apartment, buds? Igra like pulls up a chair and just like puts the back facing him and then sits like the back with the like arms draped over the back.
So you broke
Big
into
old frog legs like on either side.
Yeah.
You broke into a teacher's apartment.
So why are you doing this, buds? Listen, this isn't a cool thing to do. You break in. You're B&E. B&E is not cool.
Okay, so they kind of look at all each other, and they seem to be blushing a little bit. Like, we'll be clear with you because there's a lot of cats in the room, and I think we're all in danger. You should be careful.
I don't know. It would be pretty hypocritical if that cat started eating Faye. It would be very funny though. What's up?
We admire Mr. Azem so much, but we just wanted to get a little closer to him. You know, we wanted to see how he lived and everything, and it helps with our fan fiction.
These are pixies, right?
Yes.
I just look at Avi. Avi, are these like children or are these like adults?
Avi sort of swirls down from her perch on the ceiling
Are we dealing with teenagers having a crush?
Pixie behavior. Girls, this is not okay.
I mean, some of them are guys.
Friends, this is not okay. This is a really unfortunate way to get close to someone.
I mean, we put
Also,
everything back when we
maybe-
leave. Yeah, we do.
Gave me a look that I think was maybe not super nice, and I just wanted to address that I felt a little judged in that moment.
I mean, you were doing a really good job of hiding. I thought you were like a water stain.
Okay.
Okay.
So Avi, are these like teenagers? Are we dealing with like teenagers having a crush on a professor here? Like,
Yeah.
Please don't tell them we were here.
oh,
Well, unfortunately, you're in a little bit of trouble.
They all go
like-
really pale.
I don't think he's going to want to involve the authorities. I think that's a step too far. I think it'll be okay so long as you just stop breaking into his apartment and moving things because he thought maybe an assassin or a bounty hunter was after him.
Oh,
And
he's so
he was-
cool.
also
he
you
is
should.
very cool, but
It's also like just don't have a crush on your teacher. That's really weird.
Well, we're not his students.
He's
I
not their
wish.
teacher.
Okay, not
well, you're not
students.
going to be his students
Good.
if you keep breaking into his apartment.
Well, we can't get into the Magambia. Those tests require us to sit still for like minutes.
I didn't have to sit still. Do they have to sit still now?
There.
Well,
I mean,
Listen,
to be fair, we've never tried. It's what we imagine.
okay. Well,
We've written
you
several
should've-
fanfics about the entrance exams, and that's what they were like.
I'm sure if you put your heads together, you could pass if you really wanted to.
I don't know. I feel like it would take 3 of us put together to get into the school.
Wear a
I
trench
got in.
coat.
I don't know. You're giving us a lot to think about and write about.
Do you have your fanfics?
Oh no, well, they're kept in a safe location, in a tree trunk, with
Do
only
You
2
have
squirrels.
any fanfics about any of us?
No.
Oh.
You're lying, I can tell.
They all glance at the window.
What's the ship? What's your ship? Come on.
Well, no, it's more about like one day Agate decides they want to become a student in Magambia, and Avi's so proud, but she has to put aside her feelings as her, close friend and companion, and it becomes sort of a conflict, and they have to balance their feelings. And
While this is happening, you see Charlotte come out from underneath the bed and shift halfway.
one of them puts on a little like blue hat that looks like it's got little dangly spider legs made out of like dyed grass.
Fun. And then she starts dissembling the.
That's very
Oh.
responsible of you.
So none
Just
of
like
you are
quietly does
Webley
that.
and Durs and Darkness shippers?
We don't know
Okay.
who Webley is.
Cool.
Okay,
Is that a
I
new
think-
person to the dynamic? We'll have to update the chart.
that's actually a very. I think it is a positive exploration of your creativity as writers, and I think you should indulge that. Maybe not with real people. Maybe explore making your own characters. OCs.
First,
OCs?
Bible dogs.
Original characters.
Yeah.
They seem thunderstruck by this concept.
And then
I also feel slightly called out, but that's okay.
Hey,
you
no,
know,
fanfic authors much respect for the time and dedication it actually takes to do that.
For real.
Yes.
Well,
Even
you're maybe
even
a
if you
little bit
don't
older.
finish it, still putting out chapters and the like.
well, you can test to be in the Magambia. There's no sitting still policy. I mean, in class you don't want to be disruptive.
Ooh.
But
They all
I
look a
mean-
little crestfallen.
You know-
with that.
Y'all go do your fanfics. Just don't break into their apartment anymore. We'll just
We
say,
promise never to come back as long as you don't tell them we were
We'll
here.
just I won't tell them you were here. I'll just tell them that it wasn't bounty hunters. It was some magical pests, and that we dealt with them. I'm not calling you magical pests. I'm just saying.
Sure
No,
sounds
I am
like you
telling
are.
them the lie. I'm going to tell our friends so that they do not get in trouble for breaking and entering.
We've been called worse things. Don't worry.
For a second, I thought you were
I'm
racist.
sorry.
No, I'm not. You know what?
Back to
I'm,
the
That
dynamic.
look
I'm
from
leaving.
oh,
I'm
that look
I'm
from Ophelia.
I'm just, you know what? I'm heading out. I'll go let our friend know what's going on. You all clean up, and Igora just walks away.
Leaves us to clean up the mess. Okay.
It's okay. We made it. We made the trap. It's fine.
Maybe
I mean,
All right, you guys fly safe. We'll see you in the Mogami in a few years.
So, how much do you tell Izem?
I straight up tell them that there is a group of Fae fan people that were going into their apartment to become closer to them, and that they will not be entering anymore.
Okay. So he is shocked by the report, and then ultimately amused once you inform them of the nature of their intruders. He wonders if they'll ever work up the courage to maybe come see him. And
oh,
a while later, you guys hear down the grapevine that while they didn't sit for the entrance exam yet, they apparently worked up the courage to try and audit the class. So they kind of like hovered around the back of a class at one point as one of his lectures.
Aww. See,
And-
all's well that ends well.
That's where we're going to end our adventure tonight. I'm going to have to determine if we have to do any more of these encounters, or you guys can move on to the meat of this adventure, because you guys were very successful with your research.
I think at the very least there's going to be that pajama party with the three.
Well,
of
no,
them.
there's a decent sized list of events.
Yeah.
But thank you all so much for coming to tonight's episode of Strength of Thousands. Don't forget to check out many other shows here on the channel. And we'll see you all on the next one. Bye-bye.
Good night, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.